It was the night before the match and Elena Rybakina had nothing. No game plan rehearsed, no lefty sparring partner booked, no tactical walkthrough committed to muscle memory. Zero preparation, she admitted later. That confession, dropped quietly into a late-night conversation on May 9, 2026, sent her team into a quiet sprint across the Foro Italico grounds. They found Court 7, tracked down Lyudmila Samsonova and began drilling diagonal patterns under the lights, specifically designed to replicate the spins and angles of a left-handed opponent. This wasn't the prologue to a routine straight sets dismissal. This was the world number 2, the 2026 Australian Open champion, scrambling on Rome clay just to survive a player ranked 42nd in the world. And the scariest part. The gap between those numbers almost meant nothing at all. Elena Rybakina has never been one for empty statements, so when she said, "We didn't even practice before," she wasn't exaggerating for effect. She went further, "Knowing that she's lefty, I will get someone who is a lefty to practice. I will definitely talk to the team on the tactic and fight for each point." Read that again. This is a woman who, by May 2026, had become the only athlete on the WTA Tour to reach the round of 16 at all 6 WTA 1000 events that season: Qatar, Dubai, Indian Wells, Miami, Madrid, and now Rome. Her low score sat at an imposing 8,555. She had 204 aces before even stepping onto the Foro Italico clay. And yet, she needed an emergency left-handed simulation the night before facing Alexandra Eala. The next morning, Rybakina was on Court 7 before the Rome sun had fully cleared the pines, trading cross-court baskets with Samsonova, calibrating her eye to the kind of spin that only a lefty can generate. That was the level of threat Eala posed before a single ball was struck on May 10th. But it wasn't the end of Rybakina's adjustment problem. It was only the beginning. The first set lasted 51 minutes. On a fast hard court, a player of Rybakina's caliber, 82% service games won, 72.7% first serves in triple-digit aces, does not spend 51 minutes on a first set against a world number 42. Rybakina broke Eala's second service game, a game that went to deuce 3 times, but Eala didn't fold. Down 3-5 with set point against her, the 20-year-old from the Philippines, just 13 days shy of her 21st birthday, saved it. She forced Rybakina to serve out the set under real pressure. It was only Rybakina's third ace of the match that finally closed it, 6-4. The scoreboard said routine. The clock on the court said something completely different. And then the second set made everything even clearer. Rybakina broke Eala's serve in the very first game. For most opponents, that's the kill shot. The world number 2 has just broken your serve after already taking the first set. Statistically, that's a near-certain closing sequence. Alexandra Eala didn't read the statistics. She broke straight back to love, 4 consecutive backhand errors from Rybakina, the same player who would finish the match with 0 double faults. Suddenly, the set was level at 1-1. Eala held her next service game to go up 2-1. The crowd at the BNP Paribas Arena felt it. Rybakina had to recalibrate in real time. Here, what the data shows. Rybakina converted 4 of her 7 breakpoint opportunities, 57%. Eala converted her only breakpoint of the match at 100%. The player who was supposed to be overwhelmed on breakpoints was actually the more efficient operator. Rybakina needed her 6th ace just to break back and reach 3-2. Eala, ranked 42, had carved out a statistical edge against one of the most dominant serves in women's tennis. That wasn't supposed to happen, it happened anyway. What happened next gets to the real reason this match was harder than anyone expected. Rybakina after the match talked about the surface. Especially when you're changing seasons. For me, clay is not my strongest surface, so every match is really a battle. She was asked about growing up at the Natal Academy where clay courts are everywhere, yet playing on clay as a professional is a different animal. Her answer was telling. This is only my first season where I've really done these high-level tournaments. I'm finding my footing, I know I can do well. I'm a much better player physically and mentally than I was last year. But here's the subtext Rybakina didn't say out loud. Eala had already beaten Iga Swiatek, Madison Keys, and Jasmine Paolini while each was ranked inside the top 10. Earlier in 2026, Eala had taken down world number 4 Coco Gauff at Indian Wells. Then 2 rounds before facing Rybakina, she beat Wang Xinyu, the Paris 2024 Olympic silver medalist, 6-4, 6-3. That win mattered personally. Wang had eliminated Eala at the ASB Classic in Auckland back in January. Getting that result back on clay in Rome just before stepping onto the same court as Rybakina was not background noise, it was a signal. Sky Sports analyst and former WTA pro Jill Krabas noted that Eala's movement on Rome clay was a clear upgrade from her 2025 Italian Open where she'd lost in the first round. Going from a first-round exit to a third-round battle against the world number 2 isn't incremental. That's an athlete in acceleration. And Rybakina knew it. That's exactly why Court 7, Samsonova, and the late-night tactical conversation happened at all. But the story goes somewhere the scoreline can't take you. 6 days before the Rybakina-Eala match, at the Madrid Open on April 27, Rybakina had stood at the baseline, pointed at a ball mark in the clay, and confronted umpire Julie Chen Li over an electronic line call during her match against Qinwen Zheng. The automated system had ruled an ace in. Rybakina argued the clay mark told a different story. "The system is wrong," she said. "This is not a joke, there is no touching. The mark which is shown on the TV is absolutely wrong." Chen Li told her that under live electronic line calling rules, the automated decision couldn't be overridden. Rybakina's response was simple and searing: total no trust in the system. And Eala had been here before. In 2025, she'd faced a nearly identical situation against Swiatek, an electronic call that contradicted what the clay was physically showing. Neither player had forgotten that, so even without a specific officiating incident in the Rybakina-Eala match itself, the residue of that distrust was still in the room. When neither player can fully trust the outer edge of the court, the instinct shifts: attack the center, shrink the angles, stay away from the lines. That kind of tactical compression is exactly where Eala's defensive clay game becomes most dangerous. The Madrid controversy, unresolved and unaddressed, had changed the geometry of a match it never officially entered. Here's the contradiction: the final score 6-4, 6-4 looks clean on paper. But Elena Rybakina is the most consistent player on the WTA Tour in 2026 by any measurable standard. 6 WTA 1000 events, 6 round of 16 appearances, an 83.3% win rate, and a low score in the top percentile of every active player. And yet in the 24 hours before facing someone ranked 42nd in the world, her team recognized that standard preparation wouldn't be enough. They needed a specialist practice partner, a specific court, a late-night session to work out the tactics. That's not the behavior of a player who was comfortable going into this match. That's the behavior of a player who understood that one miscalculation against Alexandra Eala would be punished, and punished at 100% efficiency. Eala confirmed it herself after the match. "I think I was able to reach a good level of tennis," she said, "and I don't think it was an easy win for her." The player who lost walked off the Foro Italico with $54,176, $130 ranking points, and a projected jump to world number 37 or 38. More than the money, more than the ranking, she left knowing exactly what the level above her actually requires. And that's worth more than any number. EJ Obiena, one of the world's elite pole vaulters, was in the stands at the Foro Italico on May 11th. He said he was, quote, awed by what Eala had done. An Olympic-level athlete traveling to Rome specifically to watch a tennis match is not something that just happens. It speaks to what Alex Eala represents for the Philippines and to the weight of expectation that now follows her onto every court. Rybakina, for her part, kept her eyes forward. After the match, she was asked what she would do to prepare for the next round. "We're still going to do some work on the court," she said, "but definitely I will try to rest and be as fresh as possible. It's a bit tricky to play late matches and then wake up for an early match. Even if it's at 11:00, you still wake up many hours in advance. It's a bit challenging, but we will see what we can do." After Rome, Eala withdrew from the WTA 125K event in Parma, choosing recovery over extra ranking points. The official seeding cutoff for the 2026 French Open falls on May 18th. To avoid facing someone like Rybakina before the quarterfinals at Roland Garros, Eala needs to land inside the top 32. Her ranking, sitting just outside that line, now depends partly on whether higher-ranked players withdraw, including Emma Raducanu, who has been dealing with an ongoing virus. For Rybakina, the win kept her on track in her pursuit of the world #1 ranking held by Aryna Sabalenka. But even her most hard-fought win of the clay season required preparation she hadn't originally planned for. So here's the question Rome never answered, and the one that matters most going into Roland Garros. When these two meet again, and they will Rybakina have enough practice days to find someone left-handed, or will Alexandra Eala have already made that question obsolete?